Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Human Behavior Mastery Podcast. This is the podcast about how to leverage behavior, how to leverage psychology so you could build a better life, a better business, and ultimately a better you. I'm your host, Dewane Mutunga, and today I have a very, very special guest with us. A very, very good person, a good friend of mine, Rochelle T. How you doing?
I am doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing incredible. I'm excited. Yo, listen, I need y'all to understand. I'm really hype to have Rochelle here because, one, Rochelle's probably top 5 most disciplined people I've met in my life.
Wow.
Just disciplined. But you like discipline and you're a good person too. Like you like sweet. You like a sweetheart, but you like, yeah, we're not gonna do that either. Right? That's like tough love, right?
Yeah.
Like the epitome of tough love.
Yeah.
Always looking to serve and be a blessing to people. I've never known you not to be. And the work that you're doing now is incredible. I've watched you change people's lives from behind the scenes, and I was like, I need to have you on a platform because what I want to do with this platform is really give people information about how to change their mindsets, how to change their perspective, how to change their habits so we can live better lives and we can create, and manifest the lives that we're supposed to live on purpose.
Yes.
And you are a vessel and a conduit to that type of change. And I'm like, I need you to be here and share your magic with my people. So I thank you for being here.
I love it. I'm a magician now.
And you absolutely are. You absolutely are. So I don't background. I don't even know how long ago. I want to. When you got in BU?
2016.
So it would be 2016, right?
Yeah.
So we talking.
It's about 7 years.
About 7 years now. So again, met in BU, but Rochelle's always been like on keeping people healthy and fit. And I want you to start by telling people a little bit about yourself and your background, and then we'll get into how you got into the work that you're doing now. But let people know who Rochelle is.
So Rochelle T. from Houston, Texas, right?
Say that.
From Houston, Texas, 3rd Ward, okay? So Patrick Pete and I, that was our thing, 3rd Ward, right?
I know that. So, shout out to Pat Pete.
That's right. And so I would you say how I got into this. Well, I kind of been into this all my life. Like always, since I was a little girl, had aspirations of being a physician. Always interested in health and wellness. Like I went to high school for the health professions.
Okay.
Like this has been my life. Like literally, I've never wanted to be anything else. Never wanted to have a career in anything else other than health and wellness. Like that's been it. Science. So I've always been interested in the body, how it works. The heart, what makes the heart pump? What, you know what I mean? Like why are people sick? Always.
Makes sense.
And so this has been me. So this is in the discipline. So I'm a 30-year Army vet, and so a lot of people think like I'm disciplined from the military. No, I fit in the military because I was already disciplined. Like I've been getting up early. I've always been very regimented. Come on, I'm not hot. I know. So I'm very regimented. Yep. But I'm flexible. I'm not inflexible. I'm flexible, but I like order. I like structure. I like protocol. I've always said, you know what? I'm not the most creative, but you give me a system, it's over. Right. So very systematic. And so this has been my life. This health and wellness thing. So no, I did not become a physician, right? But the interest to help people never left me. I've always, and so did a little personal training. I don't know. I just, as I grew older, I joined the military. It would really turn my life around was my own personal fitness. After I had my son, right? I was 26 years old, and after I had my son, I struggled to take my next physical fitness test. And that was like a wake-up call for me because I was an officer at the time. And I'm like, you can't be a leader if you're not leading, and I barely passed my physical fitness test. But it was 6 months after I had a baby, and I said, that's it. No more. Like this was 90. I remember July of 97. I was like, that's it. You got to get your life together. And I just went in on exercise, but it was all about fitness at the time. And I did some competitive bodybuilding. I mean, I was doing my thing. Fitness wise, right? It was all external. So you go on, going on. And so people are getting sick. My husband, you know, I'm cooking trash because I don't know any better. I'm from Houston, Texas. So I'm cooking fried foods and we drinking soda. We eating Popeyes and Pizza Hut and, you know, Checkers. And that's all I knew.
Can I just say, hey, listen, I'm sorry. Houston has become one of my favorite places. San Diego is my favorite city in the United States. And then Houston is number 2. Why?
Because the food.
Y'all got jerk lamb chops.
Listen.
Jerk lamb chops go crazy.
Yeah.
And the last time I was in Houston, I hit Tobe up. I hit Toby up like, yo, I need the spots.
Yeah.
Shout out to Toby. I hit Tobe up. I'm like, yo, what's the spots out here I need to get to? He gave me a laundry list of spots.
Wow.
When I tell you,
None
that was
of
the first.
Healthy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You can get on me. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you though. But I went to all them spots and I had them jerk lamb chops. Them jerk lamb chops changed my life. I ain't gonna hold you. But
so we're known for food. We're known for food. So probably up there, the top 10% of the most, you know, chronic illnesses in the country. You know, but we are known for food. So that's all I knew, right? So I'm cooking like that for my family. You know, I'm married. You know, my son. Or my husband was gaining weight, you know, everything was just kind of spiraling out of control, but I didn't really attribute it to food at the time, you know, and so I have a second child, right? In 2003, my daughter comes along, we're still eating trash, right? Physical fitness, though, I'm doing great, right? But I'll tell you this, as well as I was doing in my physical fitness, I still could not get the perfect score. And I just kept working out harder and harder and harder, and I couldn't eclipse it, right? Meanwhile, my husband is gaining more weight. You know, people in my family's getting sick, but I'm still not attributing it to food, right? 2009, I'm pregnant with my third child. True story. I'm pregnant with my third child. Well, what I didn't tell you was when my daughter was born in 2003, my first daughter, my son had 5 cavities. By the age of 7, he had 5 cavities.
Wow.
All from what the food I was feeding him. I'm talking, you know, Dunkin' Sticks, honey buns, Kool-Aid jammers. I mean, you know, with no water, it was just trash, all processed food, sugar. And I remember he had 5 cavities at the age of 7. I was like, wow. It wasn't a wake-up call yet, though. So I'm pregnant with my third child. This is 2009. And some friends of ours came by our house, and they gave me this book. It was called Eat This and Live by Dr. Don Colbert. They said, read this book. I remember it was a Sunday. I still had on my maternity dress. I remember from church. She said, read this book. It changed our lives. We think it'll change your life too. And I read that book, and I promise you, it was like somebody took the scales off of my eyes, and my eyes were open because it was all about nutrition. And for the first time, I realized I was killing my family with the food I was feeding it.
Wow.
You know, I mean, literally. And I remember I sat my children down. Well, my 2, because I was pregnant, I sat my 2 kids down at the table, and I was like, I'm killing you. Unintentionally, I didn't know, and we got to change. We have to change. And so my friend Kim, I said, listen, I need you to come in here. I said, we got to clear out all of this. Because me and my husband, we cold turkey types. And we talked about it and said, we just got to start over. She came in and went through my pantry and refrigerator. I promise you, when it was all said and done, I had 9 bags of groceries that I donated to the church, right, to the food pantry. 6 bags I had to throw away because it was stuff that had been opened and stuff.
Right.
And so when we finished, the cupboards were clear. Just started over. And I started going to like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods because I didn't even trust myself at a regular grocery store. And I just started going in and reading labels and learning. It would take time. And I would take my son and my daughter and say, look for this. Tell them if we've got yellow 5, blue 1, red, like, you know, if it has, you know, partially hydrogenated. And we would just start reading labels, literally. We'd be in there hours. But took time. But once I learned, you know. So it takes time. But this is what I had to go through to learn myself. Right.
Wow.
And that was in 2009. So that was when it all began for me. Really, like nutrition.
So right? You became aware in 2009. That's when the journey began.
Right, with nutrition. And then let me tell you, and it was so crazy because after I had my daughter, you know, and then 6 months later I took my PT test. So my goal was, I told my people, I said, nope, when I take the PT test 6 months later, I'm going to get at least a 290. They was like, you crazy, because I'd put on like 70 pounds. I said, nope. Power of words. I said, I'm going to get at least a 290. What did I score? A 290. I said, man, I wonder if I had said higher. But I got a 290, 6 months out. The second test eclipsed that perfect score, 332, then 360. Then to this day, I have the highest physical fitness test score in DC National Guard history at a 387.
What's the highest you could get?
Whatever you can get. I have the highest though.
Wow.
So a perfect score is 300. But once you go above 300, you're on the extended scale. So I went beyond the perfect score. But that didn't happen until I changed my food, though. You see?
Okay, I didn't put that together.
That didn't happen until I changed what I started putting in my body. So I no longer was doing 87 octane. That's how I look at it. I started giving my body 93 octane. And it just went through the roof.
Okay, so first of all, I've never given birth to a child. But to hear that you doing a fitness test 6 months after giving birth to a child is impressive by itself.
That's what the military gives you. They give you 6 months.
Wow.
They give you 6 months to get yourself straight.
Wow. So really, y'all going back and your body's really not even fully healed.
It's not. I mean, they say you can't exercise for 8 weeks. So you really got 4 months because 2 months you can't do nothing.
Got you. Okay.
Yo, what's goody, fam? Listen, I know. I'm going to let you get back to the episode, but I wanted to take a minute to let you know about the Human Behavior Mastery course. Yes, we have a course that we put together for coaches, consultants, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I know you're listening to the pod and it's all of this numbers and the adaptive and the natural, the D, the I, the attributes. We put together a comprehensive course to walk you through exactly how to understand each one of the personality types, each one of the values, and we're going to show you exactly how to get the most out of each type. What things you need to avoid, what environments to put you in, and what pieces to put around you to be successful. So if you're looking at taking your business, your life, or your relationship to the next level, make sure you go check out the Human Behavior Mastery course. Back to the episode.
So you spoke about it was just always in you, right? When did you realize that what did you realize was in you, right? Because you said you fit into the military because it was just like who you were. Was it just that you were a disciplined person?
The discipline part, right?
Okay.
So I've always been adventurous. I was an athlete as a kid. So, I always wanted to go to basic training and slide, do the rope climbing. Like that's always been an interest of mine. So I'm like, yeah, military, I can do that. I'm disciplined. I can do that. I can do it. Plus, it was to get money for school. It's what I went there for,
right.
Education and stuff. So that's what took me to the East Coast. I attended Howard University. So it was money for school, but I'm like, I can do this, but the whole health and wellness thing, when you said, how did you know, like this was you, like what was in you? What I thought you were going to ask me, I read a quote. And it said, I think it was by Mark Twain. It says, 2 most important days of your life, 2 most important dates in your life, the day you were born and the day you realize
Absolutely.
your purpose.
And that's what there's somebody listening and there's somebody watching. And what I caught was you understood you were a certain type of person that allowed you to excel in the military, right? So you were just going based off of who you were, right? And you got into the military. Then getting into the military exposed you to things that allowed you to actually become aware of what your purpose was.
That's right.
Your greater purpose was.
That's right. That's
and
right.
So because there's a lot of people who are listening and they want to do things or they're trying to figure out what to do and they're not starting at that square one. So you were a disciplined person. Going to the military just
made sense.
It made sense. It allowed you to do something at a really high level based on who you were.
That's right. And I excelled in it. I made it to the rank of lieutenant colonel. But I knew, and really 4 years before I retired, I knew I had to retire because God told me to. So
what was that? So we fast forward, you have your children, now you're sitting at the table. When you have this aha moment, what are you thinking and what are you feeling?
Well, I felt like a failure at first, because, I'm a Christian and I thought, Proverbs 31 woman builds up her home, and I felt like I was tearing it down with the food I was giving it. So I felt like a failure, first of all. And I said, I got to make this right. And I'm doing this to my family. My son has 5 cavities because of what I was feeding him. My daughter was dealing with eczema because of what I was feeding her. My husband was overweight because of what, and borderline hypertensive because of what I was feeding him. And so as the nutrition gatekeeper of my home, I said, I have to change this. I bring the food in. I go shopping,
And I think that's important. We were talking about it off camera, just like some of these things, these ailments that we deal with, and we think, oh, that just runs in my family, right? And that, you said you're from Houston, I'm from New York City, so like there's certain foods that we're just accustomed to eating.
That's right.
Based on where we live or based on our culture.
Yeah.
Right. But also you think that these ailments run in your family, and it's really a reflection of the foods that you're eating.
Absolutely.
And the foods that you eat are a reflection of the information and the mindset that you have.
That's right.
So all of these things are attached. So you had this aha moment and you went from ignorance to awareness.
Yeah.
And from there, that was the beginning of you starting to make this shift. So now talk about what happens after you clear the cupboards out and you had the conversation with the family. Now what happens from there?
So we're eating differently. I was putting different things in my son's lunch.
What was we putting in? What was give me a before and after.
So a before was, his typical thing was peanut. He loved peanut butter and jelly. He wouldn't eat anything else. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I feel you. I want a peanut butter
peanut
jelly.
Peanut butter jelly or white bread, some Doritos. Cool Ranch was his favorite. A honey bun or some Dunkin' Sticks or the Kool-Aid Jammers or the Capri Suns, that was typical, every single day, it was just sugar, like nothing. There was never no fresh fruit, no water. It was just sugar all day. And so we switched to, he still wanted peanut butter and jelly, but I started putting it on whole wheat. Right. I started getting all peanut butter is not created equal. Right. So even with peanut butter, I tell people peanut butter should only have 2 ingredients, peanuts, and you may see less than 1% salt, but that's it, peanuts. But you shouldn't have peanut butter with palm oil and partially hydrogenated vegetable oil and sugar and so all this Jif and Peter Pan and all this trash. Right.
Listen, Jif.
Trash.
Jif. We grew up on Jif in the hood.
Let me
trash. Let me tell you something. No, but I just want us to understand.
Yeah, I know.
The culture and the.
I know.
Listen, I will walk in the store and I'm even to this day I'm almost trained to look for that blue.
Yeah.
The little blue car. I'm like, let me see it. I'm looking
Peter Pan, Skippy, all those things. Even the all natural. You got to become a label reader, right? So we still did peanut butter and jelly, but without that stuff. It just had peanuts. So Smuckers is the brand. Smuckers, right? That's my brand. I still got the Welch's jelly, but without the high fructose corn syrup, right? So we were still doing it, but just had to find the healthy alternatives. He still wanted chips, so I got chips, but I got plain Lay's, right? Plain Lay's chips versus the Doritos with 50 million ingredients. Stop with the Dunkin' Sticks and those things. Start doing, I still can get the juice boxes, didn't do those too often. Started taking bottled water, right? No more juice, bottled water, right? Maybe some fresh fruit cut up, So we just changed. We changed, like literally.
And how were the kids responding to this?
My son didn't care. He was like Mikey, Remember Mikey?
Hey, Mikey, he just give Mikey anything.
He didn't really care. My daughter, I remember she put up a little fuss. She was about 6 at the time. We had to have a little talk.
I like that.
We had to have a little talk.
A little straightening.
Absolutely. But I basically told her I was killing you, and I'm trying to save you now. Literally, I said, Mommy was killing you. I used those words. I said, but I'm saving your life.
Yeah, that's important. That's important.
Literally setting them up for an early adulthood of disease. Like the childhood obesity is through the roof. You have teenagers and preteens that are pre-diabetic and diabetic now. I know it because their parents call me, right? And so, but guess what? The parents did that, and I can say it because I was doing it too.
Yeah.
So this is not this. So we have to wake up. Like I don't allow my kids. Like there's no more vending machines. Like we don't do vending machines. My daughter's 13 years old, and at the school she does not go to a vending machine. That's the one I was pregnant with when all this happened. She's never had McDonald's.
So she doesn't even know what that life is.
She knows it. We're not perfect.
No. I'm not saying it like that, but she
she doesn't know. She I mean, she'll try me, and I have to say, no, Gabby, we're not eating ramen noodles, okay? Like,
Right. I always say,
but she doesn't do vending machines like we did. She's never had McDonald's. She's the one child I have that has never had McDonald's.
that is. Do you know how amazing that is? Most people cannot say that.
I know.
And I say that just a parent with multiple kids. I feel like every child you get a little bit more mature, more seasoned,
That's
and
right.
You can parent better.
That's right.
Right. So the younger ones get a better version of you because you learned with the other children.
That's right. That's right.
And so, Gabby probably, she never having McDonald's isn't. She needs to put that on her resume. I ain't gonna lie. That's a feat.
Mommy, can I just taste it for you don't need it, honey. You don't. That's need
beautiful.
It,
So you changing the lunch boxes. You starting. So you took everything out. I imagine you taking the Lowry's out and the Caesar
all of that.
What are you putting in?
Just onion powder. I mean, you can do a whole lot with just some onion powder, garlic powder. Really, those are my go-to. Onion powder, garlic powder. I use sea salt, but for those that's dealing with high blood pressure, you can find some salt-free seasonings. They have some organic salt-free seasonings. Just using fresh herbs and spices. But I mean, really, onion powder, garlic powder gets you over. Like, I don't have all that crazy stuff, the Lowry's and the accent. I mean, please, if anybody's using accent, tell them, throw it. It's one ingredient in accent, monosodium glutamate. One ingredient, MSG.
I was gonna wait to go there, but if you had to say these are three, substances or ingredients to stay away from, because you talked about reading labels. What are the three things, the top three things you want to run from when you see them?
Here we go. High fructose corn syrup, MSG, monosodium glutamate, artificial colors, and that would be red 40, blue 1, yellow 5, yellow 6. Those are artificial colors, right? Artificial sweeteners, right? That will be sucralose, aka Splenda, aspartame. Okay, you usually see that in chewing gum. If anybody's chewing gum, that's probably in there. Saccharin, sweet and low, equal, like those little sugar packets in the restaurant. All artificial sweeteners. They're no good. No good. So those things alone, I mean, it's a lot more, but that's what you're going to see most of. High fructose corn syrup, MSG, artificial colors, artificial sweeteners. Those are bad. When I say bad, I mean bad. I attribute it to the link to cancer, link to ADHD in kids, obesity, type 2 diabetes. Like, those are bad. Bad.
Okay. So we know to stay away from those things. Listen, Rochelle gave you the marching orders, okay? Don't ignore the information, right? We're trying to change. Everybody be talking about generational wealth, and we need to change
generational health.
We need to change what we eating.
Yes.
You will not be allowed to enjoy any of this.
That's right.
Right? So, okay, so you come to this awareness, you read the book, you come to the awareness, you start changing what's in the home. When did the spark, what was that moment that sort of made you say, okay, I need to take this from just doing it in my home and I need to start serving people externally?
So it was a journey. I started facilitating faith-based weight loss classes and nutrition classes at my church. We were doing that, for 7-8 years. But what happened was, and then, I was the go-to person in the military. Anybody want to lose weight or get healthy, go see Colonel Parks. I was over the health ministry at my church. So that's all local. And so what happened, COVID hit, right? COVID hit. And April 5th of 2020 is the day that my life changed forever, right? And not just my life, but at this point, the lives of thousands of people. Because on that day, my husband was in DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. And he was not a diagnosed diabetic prior to that time. But leading up to that time, I was noticing he was having some symptoms, like he was peeing a lot, he was very thirsty, he was drinking a lot of water. And I was like, these are classic signs of diabetes, you know. And he was like, why you say that? I was like, man, you're peeing every 15 minutes. You're thirsty. His eyes were, you know, my husband previously had 20/20 vision. Now his vision was being affected. I said, these are symptoms of diabetes. And so I think it was like April 2nd. And I remember this is the world, the country is shut down at this point. This is right in the middle of COVID, right at the beginning. And so I went to a drugstore, got a, well, it was a glucose meter, but I didn't know what to get. I said, it has to be something over the counter because all this was new to me. But I believe everything that I experienced in my life up to that point prepared me for this time. And so I went and found something. It was a glucose meter, came home, checked my husband's blood sugar, and it said 428. And what also another symptom he was having, he was becoming very lethargic, like he was just getting increasingly tired, right? So that I remember that Thursday, because April 5th was a Sunday, that Thursday he went upstairs, said, I'm just going to go upstairs and rest. I said, okay. So he went up there and I went and got the glucose meter. I checked, it said 428. Now, normal blood sugar is 70 to 100. His was 428. I said, ooh, this is high. But I didn't think, call the emergency room, whatever. I went into coach role, health motivator mode, right? And I was like, oh, no, this is type 2 diabetes. I know we can reverse this with nutrition and exercise. So I started giving them salads and, you know, drinking water and smoothies that were low glycemic, you know, things that I thought could lower his blood sugar. And we lowered it a little bit. It got it down to maybe just over 300, but I never got it below 300. And so, you know, I go do this for a couple of days. And Sunday, you know, this was the day that changed everything. I was awakened on Sunday. He was talking to a friend on the phone. He had the phone sitting on his chest, and he had on speakerphone. I later found out after the fact it was on speakerphone because he said he didn't have energy to even hold the phone. But when I woke up, I heard him talking to a friend, and his friend said, our friend said, he said, man, listen, I know you're married to Dr. Quinn, talking about me. He said, man, that's classic bronchitis. He thought he had the coronavirus. I said, he's like, just get you some tea with honey, you know, just drink, you know, hot liquids, some vitamin C, just let it blow over. His breathing was very labored too, like, you know, and so I knew it was affecting his lungs, but I'm telling you, nothing in me told me that this was the coronavirus. I was like, I don't think that's what this is. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't think that's what it was. But I said, you know what? I'm not Dr. Quinn, you know what I mean? And so I went downstairs and I made tea with honey. I got the vitamin C. I made a smoothie, and I came back upstairs, and so my husband's name is Michael, but his nickname is Pops. And so I said, Pops, man, I don't think that's what this is, but here's the tea with honey. He was like, I don't think that's what it is either. So he drank the tea with honey, the smoothie, whatever. He said, just put the vitamin C on the nightstand. He said, I'm just gonna get some rest. I said, okay. Now my husband at the time was he's 6'2", about 270 at the time, very weak. Like it was a struggle to get up and go to the bathroom in the bedroom. He was very weak. He said, I'm just going to get some rest. I said, okay. I said, well, I'm going to go downstairs and work out. So if you recall, he used to have his call every Sunday, 8 a.m. I said, I'm going to go downstairs and get on the call, get on the bike. So, you know, we have a gym in the basement. He said, okay. So I go downstairs, and for whatever reason, I walked through my office. And I stopped in front of my desk, and God, I promise you, tapped me on my shoulder and said, go check his blood sugar. I was like, what? I said, why would I do that? I just gave him tea with honey, a smoothie. I'm saying, I'm sure it's going to be elevated. God said, go check it anyway. I said, okay. So I go upstairs. I said, Pops, man, let me just check it one more time before I go down in the gym. Because had I gone down in the gym, you know, I was going to be down there at least an hour because the call is an hour. He was like, okay. And I checked it, and it didn't even register. It just said high, H-I. He said, Ro, what did it say? I was like, man, this says high. He said, what does that mean? I was like, I don't know, but this can't be good, you know. So I flipped in the manual, you know, kind of see what that meant. And it said if it registers high, that means it's in excess of 600. Now I'm thinking diabetic coma. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So I run downstairs real quick. I called the emergency room. We live like 10 minutes from a military installation. I told them what was going on. They said, get him to the nearest big hospital, like right away. I was like, why can't I bring him there? Like, you 10 minutes away. They were like, no, we're just urgent care. If you bring him here, you're going to delay his care because then we have to transport him. You just take him straight there. I said, oh, Lord. So I run upstairs. I knock on my son's door. I was like, honey, now my kids are none the wiser. They just think daddy's upstairs resting. I mean, I really just thought daddy was upstairs resting. I didn't really know what was going on with him. And so I wake up my son. I said, honey, wake up. I need your help. I got to get daddy to I got to get him to the emergency room, whatever. And so he was like, emergency room? Like, what's going on? Like, I said, no, his blood sugar's a little elevated. Don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. I was calm. I said, I need your help. Because I'm thinking, how am I going to get this man down these steps? When I say he was weak, he was so weak. So I go in there and said, Pops, man, get up. I had to get him, look, these guns came in. These guns came in handy. So I had to get him up. We get in the bathroom. He had to use the bathroom, wash his face, brush his teeth, just do a hoodie on, some sweats, whatever, some shoes and socks. And then we get to the door. My girls are up. I'm like, shoot. I was trying not to alarm them. Hey, Daddy, what's going on? What's wrong with them? And I say I didn't want them up, but in hindsight, I know it was God that woke them up, because when his girls were at the door, I promise you, he was able to muster up every ounce of strength that he had to be okay. Because, he's Superman, what I mean?
Course.
To his little girls. And so he was like, no, Daddy's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And so we got to the steps. My son was in front. I had my husband put his hands on his shoulders. I was behind him. And we just went down one by one. One by one till we got to the bottom. And long story short, we were able to get him there. When we got there, he didn't even have the strength to get out the car. He said, Ro, I ain't got it. Like, that's how weak he was. Like, he didn't even have the strength to get out the car. So I had to run in there. They came out with the wheelchair. We got him in there. And they said, yeah, he's going to be admitted to the ICU. You go home. I'm like, go home.
Because it's COVID. You can't go with him.
I can't even.
Oh, wow.
So I had to turn my husband over, not knowing anything. So I'm afraid. They said, don't worry.
What was that drive like back home?
Crying on the phone with friends, and, call the church, letting people know what's going on. And, but I knew I had to be straight before I went in the house with my babies. And so, because I didn't want to worry them. So I got it all out, dried up my tears, and went in the house. And it's funny, my son and I were just talking about that yesterday, and he's usually pretty in tune. And he was like, he said, you did a pretty good job, because I didn't pick up on any of it, because I stayed calm, and that was God. He just kept me calm. And when I went back to see him later on in the ICU, he hooked up to all these tubes, and they said, Ms. Parks, your husband's a very sick man. There's a lot of acid in his blood. And we're doing our best to get his blood sugars, his blood pressures out of control. Everything was just, because what was happening was his organs were shutting down. He was about 2 steps away from being in a diabetic coma, literally. And they said, had I not acted when I did, it probably would have been too late. Like, had I not answered the call when he said, go check his blood sugar, it probably would have been too late. They told me that. And that's like, how did you know to do that? How did you know to check his blood sugar? How did you know? And that's all I could say was, I know stuff. I mean, I just started like my whole life. Like I said, I went to high school for health professions. I majored in medical technology, got a Bachelor of Science in medical technology. So this is what I know. I know stuff, right? And so the day I was born, the day I realized my purpose was April 5th.
Ties it all together.
Right? That was April 5th. I'm like, this is what I was born to do. And so, long story short, he was discharged on April 9th with insulin and metformin. They said, Mr. Parks, you have to stick yourself with insulin 4 times a day and take metformin once a day, right? So what I didn't tell you, just how crucial it got. April 5th, before I left, they told me he must make it through the night. That's how crucial it got. They say he must make it through the night. I was like, what? I said, I'm not going to go tell my babies that. I did not tell my kids that. Because as sure as I was that it was God that tapped me on my shoulder and told me to go check his blood sugar, I was equally as sure he never told me he was going to die. He never told me that. So I said, I'm not telling my babies. I said, God, you got it. You got it. So I went home. And it was normal for the kids. I went to sleep. I probably woke up 10 times checking my phone to make sure I didn't have a missed call.
Right.
Last time I woke up was 4 a.m. and no missed calls. I said, we made it. And I knew he was going to be okay at that point. So every day he just got better and better. And he was just discharged on April 9th. They said, you're going to be on this medication for the rest of your life. I said, the devil is a liar. No, he will not. And so when he was in there, I was doing the research. I was in the lab cooking up a plan when he was in there.
I know that's
literally cooking up a plan. And I was texting him like, watch this video, look, read this, watch it. This is what we're going to do when you come home. And I knew he was ready. That was answered prayer for me because I have been praying. Because I've been on this thing. I've been Rochelle T. Parks. I'm the health motivator. I've been exercising. And he was not, and so it was answered prayer. So we came home, went to work April 9th. April 17th was his last day taking medication. So we got him off his medication in 8 days.
Okay. Cause that just sounded like some Dr. Sebi. We about to, the government done took him to trial for saying he done cured stuff, right?
No,
that's some Dr. Sebi stuff. So
that's what we did.
You in 8 days, you went from took your husband from he's gonna be on medication for the rest of his life.
Yes.
To not needing the medication at all.
April 17th was his last day taking medication.
And he has not taken the medication?
Has not touched it. The insulin is still sitting on our refrigerator door. Not that he would ever take it again, but it's a reminder of what was. And we still have it sitting there.
So when I said that she works magic, right? Right.
Yeah.
This is literally, you heal people.
Yeah. God's food heals people.
God's food heals people, and you are a vessel.
There you go.
Right? How did you do this? Right? How did you heal him?
With God's food, literally.
In 8 days.
God's food. That's how quickly. See, we discount the power of God's food. I mean, like, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Right?
Right.
Like, that's what it is. Like, that's literally what it is. See, when you say, what do you do? I teach people how the body works. See, when people know that, this is what I explain. I say, when you really understand this concept, I call it the cell theory, then you understand how this works. Like, so if you break us down to our most basic unit, we're made up of cells.
Right.
Right? Well, cells make up tissues. Tissues make up organs. Organs make up organ systems. Organ systems make up the organism, the person. Okay? So you say it takes 19 essential vitamins and minerals with 9 amino acids with the perfect protein to make a perfect cell. I know. Hear me out, right? If you're missing one nutrient, you're making imperfect cells for 7 days, and those imperfect cells manifest into disease. And so what I know to be true is there's one root cause of disease, and that's malfunctioning of cells. One root cause.
Not having all of those nutrients.
That's right.
Causes the cell to malfunction.
That's right. So where do you get the nutrients from?
Food.
Exactly. So to have a healthy cell, you must give it the right nutrients, right? See, to have a healthy organ, you have to have healthy tissues. To have healthy tissues, you have to have healthy cells. Where do you get the healthy cells from? From the food you eat. So you can't expect to have a healthy organs if you're eating Takis. You see? But if you're eating God's food, you say, what is God's food? Meat, fish, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grain, legumes. That's God's food. Anything outside that is a lab experiment.
Say that again.
Meat, fish, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grain, legumes. Right? Anything outside that is a lab experiment. That's it, right? So 3 principles though.
Before we get to hold on. So are you taking, because with the food,
yep.
Do you need to take supplements? Because I just want like additional. Do you need to take extra vitamin? You know, people be having.
I recommend, because we're not perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, you're never going to get everything.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. I'm an avid supplement taker, right? Because you know.
So give us the 3 principles.
So 3 principles: eat the food God called food. I just told you what God called food, right? Eat it as close to his original state as possible, right? So an example, like eat the orange versus drinking the orange juice, right?
Right.
Eat God's whole food, like eat the whole cauliflower versus the cauliflower rice, okay?
Right.
Like eat broccoli. Like the broccoli shouldn't be mushy, okay? The cabbage shouldn't be mushy. Collard greens shouldn't be mushy, right? There's no nutritional value when it's like that. So eat it as close to his original state as possible. Yeah, as close to his original state as have a little crunch to it, right? Carrots shouldn't be mushy, right? That's where the nutrients are, right? And then the third principle is do not allow any food to become your God, which means no addictions.
Okay.
No addiction. So that's where the sugar comes in, the sugar, the salt, the chocolate, the chips, like all this, these addictions, right? Addictions. So that's all I did was I when my husband came home, I just started making them God's food, close to his original state as possible. I took out all the juice. We just drank water, okay? We started to move his body because he wasn't moving. And there was no extreme workout. I just need you to walk. I just need you to move. We were made to move, right? No more lab experiments. God's food. No more. Nothing off if it's on the shelf, it's processed. We don't need that right now. You've had enough processed food.
And in 8 days.
In 8 days, he's done.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And then we said, it was actually my husband that said, we can't keep this to ourselves. We have to share this with the world. My husband, who is a behind the scenes guy, he said, there's no way God allowed me to heal my body and I not share this. You must share this with the world.
And that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. I used to do a thing called Mindset Talks where I, interview people on StreamYard, whatever. We put it online. And he said, I want to be a guest on Mindset Talks. Could have knocked me over with a feather because he never want to be on camera. You've never seen. You probably never seen. That's right.
I've been thinking that this whole time. I was like, I've never
seen him
outside of a picture.
That's right.
Or something like that.
That's not who he is.
Right.
He said, we got to do this. And so I went on he was a guest on Mindset Talks. We talked about the whole ordeal, like what happened, and people just started reaching out. So we were helping people like that locally, and then like I said, then we started to put some structure to it just to get bigger, creating ads and start, just expanding, building the team and
so what's going on now? Tell us. I mean, Pops pushed you.
Yeah.
Pops pushed you to make it public. And so talk about the work that you're doing now and what you have going on so that people are aware.
Wow, it's been a whole blessing. I mean, I'm talking thousands of people have come through this program. We've had not 45-day programs, 90-day programs, year programs. And so the biggest thing now is this is all culminating into a in-person live conference, the I Am the Hope Conference. Okay. We're planning September 30th in Orlando, Florida, and I'm so excited. It's a whole movement, right? And it's based on scripture, Romans 8:28. And so like I am the hope. So I know I am the hope. God gave me that download. I was doing a IG live one day, and I said, I recognize I'm the hope. I'm the hope for everybody that comes into my sphere of influence. I am the hope. We live in a dark and fallen world, and people are hopeless. People are being told they're going to be on medication for the rest of their lives. People are being told there's nothing they can do. People are being told it runs in your family like it's nothing you can do. And I know differently, because I'm helping people every single day reverse chronic illness, whether it's type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. They're getting off CPAP machines. That what I'm saying. They're getting rid of debilitating menstrual cycles, shrinking fibroids. I mean, like literally changing people's lives, changing their lives, literally, and not just them, but their spouses too. Because as the one person is in, we call it the overflow, because the spouse is getting it too, because whoever is cooking, so
Absolutely.
The spouse is getting off medication. They're not even directly in the program. That's how powerful this is, right? And so I tell people, like, you are the hope, for your sphere of influence.
It started with you
Yeah.
and your family.
Yeah.
And now there's a bunch of people being blessed by it.
That's right. So it's the I Am the Hope Conference. And so I'm looking for people to come who know their family is in trouble. They're in trouble, but guess what? When you fix you're going to help fix your entire family. I'm talking about changing the health trajectory of your entire family. Generational health.
Yeah. This is we live in an age where like people talk about influencers, but this is the type of influence that you need to have.
Yeah.
This is, and I'm not just saying that. I've watched you do it with other people behind the scenes. I've watched you work with people, and to be honest with you, it was like, oh, I said Rochelle got him, right? Like I'm just like, that's just who I know you to be.
Yeah.
And even before we went live, we talking, and you're like, that's not it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going through a process. I've always been somebody who God just blessed me physically, mean like I didn't have to try hard, but I
Yeah.
you know would work out whatever. But I came to a point where you can't outwork the habits.
That's right.
And so I was just telling you like, yeah, you know, I don't want to eat sweets anymore. So I went from training my brain, no candy, and I'll just eat fruit. And you're like, yeah, but that's
still sweet.
you just shifted something.
That's it.
Right? And I represent a person who has the willingness, has the work ethic, but didn't have the information. And I
That's
was
right.
meaning well, but because I didn't have the right information, I was still feeding myself things that I shouldn't be feeding myself. So now I know when next time I go to the grocery store what to buy,
Yeah.
just off of the information that you just gave me offline. So going to this conference, I would imagine you have the day set
Absolutely.
to lay everything out for people.
Absolutely.
And this is essential information that not only will change your life, but you can share this information
Absolutely.
with your people. So it's in
Absolutely.
Orlando, Florida. You said September 30th.
September 30th,
When do the tickets go live?
July 28th.
Got it. July 28th. Okay. So can you do something for my people?
Absolutely. I would love to do something for your people. How about 15% off?
Listen, we will take whatever blessing.
15% for anybody who would purchase a ticket. Yeah, let's give it a promo code. What do you want to use?
We can use promo code behavior.
There we go.
Promo code behavior. We'll put the link. We'll put the link somewhere in the video also, but we'll put the link in the description so you guys could access
Yeah.
the tickets. Thank you so much. Like I think I was really intentional about giving people the information that will change their day-to-day lives, and you're a person who did it for your family, and really praise God for Pops, because Pops was
Yeah.
like, nah, everybody got to get this.
Absolutely. Yeah. He was the one, because he said we gotta share this. We gotta share. Like, I mean, it was the middle of COVID. We could have easily not said anything, and nobody would have ever known because we were in the house. So we had to go online for this because nobody was outside. So it started off virtual, and it is virtual, and that's the beauty. So we can help people all across the country. I've had clients in Nigeria, in Canada, in Germany.
So this is global.
It's global. Yeah.
And so now you're bringing everybody in person.
In person. First in-person conference. Absolutely. So the energy in that room is going to be off the charts.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Off the charts.
All right, so we're going to get out of here soon. But before we get out of here, if you could leave people with one mindset to adopt, if you could offer somebody a mindset or a perspective to adopt that they can use in their lives right now to move the needle, what would that be?
This is going to sound kind of bad, but just hear me out. So what I tell my people, so there's deliverance and transparency, right?
Yep.
So what I tell them, I said, listen, whatever you feel like today, like whatever you're dealing with today, whether that's the type 2 diabetes, the high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, the sleep apnea, the debilitating menstrual cycles, the migraine headaches, the constipation, the Crohn's disease, like whatever digestive is, whatever it is, I need you to know that you did that to you. Right? And I don't say that to discourage you. I say it to encourage you, because here's the thing. If you did it, you can undo it.
Right.
You see? But as long as we're blaming Big Mama, see, you can't affect what somebody else did. You can't change. If you didn't do it, you can't change. Like if they did it, you can't affect it. But when you know you did it, you know you can undo it.
Take ownership.
That's right. So own it. Own it. If you did it, you can undo it. And that's the encouragement. And that's all I get my people to do. Like, and it's undoing it by changing these habits. And just like it happened with my husband in 8 days, I've had people get off medication in 2 days and 3 days. People that were on medication for 26 years get off in 30 days. You see, like you can, when I tell you we're batting 1,000, like there has not been one person that have gotten in the rowboat. I call it in the rowboat, right? Gotten in the rowboat.
I see what you did there. Okay.
There's been one person that has gotten in the rowboat and did the work and didn't get the results. Like everybody, if you do the work, you get the results, period.
I like that. I like that. Listen, I'm excited. This is the type of stuff that really changes lives. I thank you for coming on this platform and sharing your story, sharing the work that you do. I'm excited for you about this I Am Hope. I Am the Hope Conference.
I'm excited.
So IamTheHope.com.
IamTheHopeConference.com.
IamTheHopeConference.com.
Yep.
September 30th, Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, let the people know where they can find you, how they can contact you.
Yeah, so I'm on all social media platforms as my name, Rochelle T. Parks. So on Instagram, I'm Rochelle T. Parks. On TikTok, I'm Rochelle T. Parks. On YouTube, I'm Rochelle T. Parks. My website is RochelleTParks.com. Email is Rochelle@RochelleTParks. I mean, it's Rochelle T. Parks. If you know my name, you know how to find me.
Got you.
Yeah, that makes it easy.
Got you. Hey, and do not forget the T. You know
Don't
what I'm saying?
forget the T.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all say Wheezy F, please don't forget the T. All right. Y'all know me. I'm Dewane Mutunga on everything. I just use my name. This has been an amazing, incredible episode. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, bro. I thank you for having me. It's been real.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. We're going to get out of here. I'll see y'all. Peace.